Samanar Hills or Samanar Malai is a small hillock located near Kudi village in Madurai district of Tamil Nadu. Translation of Samanar Hills or Samanar Malai in Tamil is Jain Hill. This archaeological treasure lies on the opposite side of the Nagamalai hill. Samanar Hills are beautiful blend of nature with history. It boasts ancient caves with carvings dating back to 1st century AD. Samanar Hill has many prominent sculpture and ancient inscriptions giving an insight into the history and into the Jainism religion which flourished here during ancient times. The inscriptions on the hills are said to be more than 2000 years old. These caves were the homes of many Jain monks during ancient era. The hill has been declared as a protected monument by the Archaeological Survey of India.
Samanar means Jain in Tamil and Malai means hill. This hill has caves where Tamil Jain Samanar monks lived. The hill was also known as Tiruvaruvagam. It is home to prehistoric caves and carvings dating back to around 1 AD where Tamil Jain monks lived. Several Tamil Brahmi inscriptions, stone beds and sculptures found here demonstrates the strong influence of Jainism on the ancient Tamil society through. Geographically, Samanar Malai is an extensive complex of low rocky hills stretching more than 3 km. The hill contains two famous Jain monuments, Settipodavu and Pichipallam, that show images of Jain Tirthankaras made by Jain monks in the 9th century CE. The Settipodavu contains the image of Mahavira, the last Tirthankara of Jainism. Settipodavu is situated at the base of the hills. There's a stunning bas relief of Mahavira with two attendants on one side and further inside, several others in a yakshi. Today, Isaki and Pechi are common names in southern Tamil Nadu and both are modifications of this Sanskrit word. They have become Hindu names now but bear an ancient link to the country's Jain past. The inscriptions here are from the 9th-10th centuries and mention the names and details of the donors for the bas reliefs. The Pichipallam contains 8 sculptures, including Mahavira, Bahubali, Gomateshwara, Yaksha and Yakshi with Brahmi inscriptions can be seen at the entrance of the cave and different points in the vicinity of the cave. Pichipallam is situated one level above Settipodavu. A further level above Pichipallam and a level below the newly discovered Tamil Brahmi cave are remains of a Jain structure up to the basement level. A hill lock with Jain vestiges adjoining Samanar Malai tragically collapsed in the late 1990s due to heavy quarrying nearby. The Samanar Malai complex, in the wider sense, includes the adjacent hills at Muttupatti and Kongarpuliyankulam, which have caves with a large number of stone beds, besides Tamil Brahmi inscriptions dating from the 2nd century BCE. The recent discovery has pushed back the historicity of Samanar Malai to well over 2000 years coeval with the earliest Tamil Brahmi inscriptions. It appears that the caves with very numerous stone beds in the Samanar Malai region served as places of retreat for the Jain monks of the Tirukkattampalli monastery. Beside the spring are several holes on the floor and a vertical rock face, indicative of roof that were created with wooden poles and thatched roofs. These would have been places for the school that existed in the village. Inscriptions list more names of students who commissioned the bas-reliefs. Close by was once a stone temple of which only the foundation remains. It received a gift in 889 AD during the reign of Veera Narayana Pandya from his queen Vanavan Mahadevi. One wonders who owns the land in the Konkarpuliyakandlam village that the queen gave to this temple today. The oldest inscription on the hill records the creation of a stone bed by a native of nearby Thena in 2nd century BCE. These caves were the homes of many Jain monks during ancient era. At the entrance of the caves, created to ensure that rainwater does not go into the cave but trickles away from it by the side. Then you see the fabulous carvings on the walls, stark lines with minimal ornamentation. One can see various religiously significant sculptures of Gomateshwara, Mahavira, Yakshi and Yaksha. It also has a large sculpture with the images of many Tirthankars, including Mahavir and Parshvanath, even though Samanar Hills is regarded as a sheltered nationalized monumental and as a famous place for the tourists. The local villagers also find this place very holy and call it Sacred Hills. The hill has been declared as a protected monument by the Archaeological Survey of India. According to archaeological findings, there used to be Jain school at the top of the hills. The discoveries through the Tamil and Kannada engravings demonstrate that there was a Jain religious school at the highest point of the slope known as Madevi Perampalli, where many Jain monks and nuns used to come to receive education. It is said that kings of Pandyan dynasty also visited this school as well as many senior monks from Shravanabelagola of Karnataka also studied here. This was the central seat of authority for Jainism in the Tamil country, even as Shravanabelagola is for the Jains of Karnataka. Inscriptions 12th century CE on the basement of the ruined Jain temple above Pichipallam refer to visits of senior Jain monks from Shravanabelagola, some of whom chose to end their lives through Salekhana on the Samanar Malai hill. Here is clear evidence that the fame of Samanar Malai had spread beyond the borders of the ancient Tamil country.
Karuppanna Swami Temple is a Hindu temple dedicated to local village deity, Karuppanna Swami located at Kila Kuyil Kudi village in the foothills of Samanar Hill. This temple constitutes a few idols that were made by the Jain monks. There is also a lotus pond at the bottom of the hills. This temple is located at a very picturesque place at the base of the Samanar Hills. The temple has been heavily modernized, but if you look closely at two deities, fancifully called after mythical Pandya kings, you will find the heads of early pre-9th century Pandya sculptures of attendants, who would have formed part of the Jain temple that once stood on the hill and a Tirthakar statue inside the temple.
Archaeologists have also found 2000-year-old Tamil Brahmi inscriptions and Vatteluttu writings. The inscriptions reveal that hundreds of Jain monks took Salekhana there. There are flat rocks, called stone beds, used by the monks to take rest. The findings through the Tamil and Kannada inscriptions show that there was a Jain monastery at the top of the hill known as Madevi Perampalli. Madevi Perampalli was an educational academy in which both Jain monks and nuns studied. The kings from the Pandyan dynasty, who ruled Madurai, visited the academy. The Kannada students and senior monks from Shravanabelagola also stayed there. An inscription shows about Asta Upavasi Muni lived here. The famous Muni Achanadi mother created Tirthakar statue here and head of the monastery name was found as Guna Vira. A Tamil Brahmi inscription that pushes back the association of Saman Malai, Jain Hill with Jainism to 2200 years, has been discovered on the hill. Although scholars in Jainism in Tamil Nadu know the existence of bas-relief sculptures of Tirthankaras and Tamil but Telugu inscriptions on the Saman Malai, both datable to 9th-10th century CE, what has surprised them is the recent discovery of the Tamil Brahmi Script on a boulder on the hill's terrace. The script is engraved on the boulder in which a drip ledge has been cut and beds excavated on the rock floor for the Jaina monks to rest. The script, which is datable to 2nd century BCE, has 13 letters. The Tamil Brahmi inscription has been read as Peru Thorur Kunrako Ayam, said it recorded the gift of rock-cut bed to Jain munis.
Samanar Hills is situated on the Nagamalai Pudukottai road. Samanar Hills is located at about 1.5 km from Vadivelkarai bus stop, 1.5 km from Kudi bus stop, 8 km from Tiruparankundram, 11 km from Madurai, 10 km from Madurai Periya bus stand, 15 km from Madurai Mattu Thavani integrated bus terminus, 10 km from Madurai railway station and 17 km from Madurai airport. Pilgrimages can either book a cab from Madurai to the hills or take a bus. Samanar Hills is connected via all the major modes of transportation.